Fun.
You know how weddings are supposed to bring people closer together. Yeah, that night it tore something inside me apart. We were sitting at a round table near the dance floor, soft lights, slow music, and everyone smiling like they were in a fairy tale. I was proud of how my wife looked. She wore this emerald green dress that shimmered under the chandeliers. People kept complimenting her, and I smiled, feeling lucky. But little did I know, that same night luck was the last thing I had. It started innocent. Her coworker, this tall, confident guy named Evan, walked up and asked if she wanted to dance. I remember her glancing at me, almost like asking permission, but before I could even answer, she was already standing up. I didn't mind at first. It was just a song, right? Everyone was dancing. But then, one song turned into two, two turned into three, and before I knew it, she was out there laughing, twirling, holding his hand like I wasn't even there. I sat there watching them under the yellow lights, their shadows moving together. She didn't look back once. Not once. And here's the strange part. People started noticing. Some looked at me, then at them, whispering. I tried to smile, act like I didn't care, but inside, my stomach was twisting. Why didn't she come back to me? Why was she letting another man's hand linger on hers? When the fourth song came on, someone leaned over to me and said, "You're a patient man." I forced a laugh, but patience wasn't what I was feeling. It was humiliation. It was anger. The kind that builds slowly, the kind that burns quietly until it explodes. Then came the moment I'll never forget. Someone from her office, clearly drunk and nosy, walked up to them and joked, "Hey, is your husband okay with this?" And she laughed, not just a nervous laugh, a full carefree laugh. Then she said the words that sliced right through me. "Not really. It doesn't count when he's boring." The people around them laughed. Even Evan chuckled. And me, I froze. I didn't even blink. I just stared at her, trying to figure out if I had heard her right. Not really married? It doesn't count when he's boring? Who was she talking about like that? Me, the man who stood by her through everything? I remember gripping my glass so tight my fingers hurt. My mind screamed, "Walk away, just leave." But my heart said, maybe it's just a joke. Maybe she'll look back and realize how cruel that sounded. She never did. Minutes turned into hours. She danced until her makeup started to smear, until the night air turned cold and the crowd began thinning out. Every laugh, every spin, every careless moment on that dance floor felt like a public betrayal, and I sat there silent, watching, because sometimes silence says more than anger ever could. You ever watch someone you love act like you don't exist? You ever sit there and wonder, when did I stop being enough? That's what was running through my head all night. When it was finally time to leave, she stumbled over, still laughing, cheeks flushed. She looked surprised that I wasn't smiling. "What's wrong with you?" she said, slurring a little. It was just fun. Just fun. To her, that's all it was. A night of dancing and attention. But to me, it was a moment I'd never be able to unsee. The drive home was quiet. The kind of quiet that screams louder than words. She hummed along to the radio, tapping her fingers on the dashboard, while I stared straight ahead, replaying everything in my mind. The laughter, the way she said boring, the way everyone looked at me. I dropped her off at the house and said I'd go get gas. But that wasn't true. I needed air. I needed distance. I drove until the city lights disappeared behind me. I didn't even know where I was going. I just knew I couldn't go back. My phone buzzed. A message from her. "You're being dramatic. Come home." I didn't reply, because I wasn't sure home even existed anymore. As I sat in the car parked on an empty road, something inside me broke quietly. It wasn't rage. It wasn't heartbreak. It was something colder. Acceptance. The kind of acceptance that tells you things will never be the same again. By the time I drove back, the house lights were off. She had gone to bed. I walked inside, looked at her sleeping like nothing had happened, and felt like a stranger in my own life. I sat on the edge of the bed and whispered, "If this is what being boring means, maybe you deserve a little silence in return." Then I stood up, looked at her one last time, and walked out. I didn't pack a bag. I didn't leave a note, just keys on the table, phone on the dresser, ring on the nightstand. As I closed the door behind me, I thought, maybe she'll wake up and realize what she lost. Or maybe she won't care at all. But I promise you this, the morning she woke up, she wasn't the only one who was alone. The first sound I heard that morning was the rain. It wasn't heavy, just soft, the kind that taps the window like it's trying to remind you of something you've forgotten. I stood outside the house, watching it slide down the glass. Through that window, I could see her still asleep, her hair tangled on the pillow, the same way it always fell when she was too tired to care. For a second, I almost went back inside. Almost. But then I remembered her laughter echoing across that wedding hall, the way she said it doesn't count when he's boring, and I kept walking. While she slept, I drove back to the place where everything had started between us, a small coffee shop, 2 blocks from her old apartment. That's where I had first seen her laugh, first believed she was the one person who'd never make me feel small. Funny how the same laugh could mean love once and humiliation later. The city was waking up, but inside me, something had gone completely still. I ordered a black coffee and stared at my phone. No new messages, no missed calls. She hadn't noticed yet. Or maybe she had, and just didn't care enough to reach out. You ever wonder what your absence means to someone? Does it shake them, or do they just scroll through their morning like nothing changed? By 9 a.m. I decided to find out. I called the house. Once, "Hope you slept well." I didn't. It was a small jab, not cruel but sharp enough to sting if she read between the lines. 10 minutes later, the phone rang. Her voice came through, low and uneasy. "Where are you?" I didn't answer that directly. I just said, "Do you remember what you said last night?" She paused. Then came the excuse I'd been expecting. "Oh my God, you're still on that? It was a joke. Everyone knew I was kidding." I closed my eyes and whispered, "You laughed too loud for it to be a joke." There was silence, the kind that makes you realize truth doesn't need to be shouted to hurt. Then she said, "Just come home, please." But I didn't move, because home didn't feel like safety anymore. It felt like a stage where I had been made to look like a fool. So instead, I drove, nowhere in particular, just away. The rain got heavier, traffic thickened. My mind wandered back to every small sign I'd ignored. The late-night texts she'd brushed off as work stuff, the way she'd suddenly started dressing differently for office events, the distant smiles that didn't reach her eyes. Was this night just a drunken mistake? Or had it been building for months, waiting for the right music, the right crowd, the right man to expose it? Around noon, my phone buzzed again. This time it was a photo, the 2 of us from that wedding, taken earlier in the night before everything went wrong. Her message read, "We looked happy, didn't we?" I didn't reply, because the truth was, we looked happy. We weren't. She called again, and I finally picked up. Her tone was softer this time. "I messed up. I know I did. Please come back. We can talk about it." You ever notice how people apologize when they start feeling the consequences, not when they realize they were wrong? Her words felt rehearsed, like she was trying to control the damage, not repair the love. "I don't think you understand what you broke," I told her. "It was one night," she snapped. "One stupid night. You're really going to throw everything away for that?" Everything. The word echoed in my mind, because to her, everything was a collection of moments. Dinners, smiles, vacations. But to me, everything was trust. And once that cracked, what was left? I hung up, not out of anger, but out of exhaustion. And then, my phone buzzed again. But this time, it wasn't her. It was a message from an unknown number. "You deserve better than what she said last night." No name, no context, just that line. At first I thought it was a prank, but then another text came. "You don't know the half of it. Check her gallery. Look at the videos she took during the wedding." My heart dropped. I wanted to ignore it, to pretend I didn't see it. But curiosity is a dangerous thing, especially when your trust has already been shaken. So I drove back home. When I walked through the door, she looked startled. Not relieved, startled. Her hair was messy, eyes red from crying, wearing one of my shirts like she thought it would soften the scene. "Thank God," she said. "I was so scared you weren't coming back." I didn't say a word. I just walked past her, straight to the table where my phone used to be. My laptop sat there instead, open but dimmed. I tapped the spacebar. The screen lit up, and there it was. Her gallery open, one video selected, timestamped the night before. She froze when she saw me looking at it. "Please don't," she started. But it was too late. The video played. She was laughing again, camera spinning around the dance floor, music loud in the background. Then she turned the camera on herself and said, "He's so boring, but at least Evan knows how to have fun." My chest went cold. That same sentence again. Only this time, she wasn't joking with a crowd. She was recording it, remembering it. I turned to her. "You were filming it. Why?" Tears filled her eyes. "I was drunk. I wasn't thinking. I swear." "Then who sent me this?" I held up my phone, showing her the anonymous texts. She blinked, confused, or pretending to be. "What are you talking about?" But then for just a split second, her face changed. The way her eyes darted toward the window, it told me everything. Someone had seen more than I did that night. Someone who wasn't supposed to. I stepped closer. "Who was watching you, Rachel?" Her lips trembled. "You don't want to know." And that's when the doorbell rang. She flinched. I turned toward the sound. Once, twice, then she whispered, barely audible, "Please don't open it." The bell rang again, louder this time, urgent, almost desperate. And in that moment, I realized something. This wasn't just about a dance anymore. Someone else was involved. Someone who had a reason to make sure I saw everything. I walked toward the door, hand tightening around the knob. Behind me, she whispered, "If you open that door, everything changes." I looked back at her one last time. Then the door creaked open, and what I saw standing there changed everything I thought I knew about the night before. The moment the door creaked open, the air inside the house changed. Rain dripped from the stranger's coat, tall, nervous, and holding something in his hand. Evan. I froze. Behind me, Rachel gasped softly, the sound cutting through the silence like glass breaking. He didn't look confident anymore. The smug coworker from the dance floor was gone. What stood before me now was a man who looked scared. "Can I come in?" he asked quietly. I didn't answer. I just stepped aside. Because whatever this was, it was time for the truth. He walked in slowly, eyes darting between me and Rachel. The tension was thick enough to touch. She folded her arms across her chest and muttered, "You shouldn't have come here." I turned to her. "You know what he's here for?" She didn't reply. That silence told me everything. Evan sighed and ran a hand through his hair. I didn't want to get dragged into this, but I sent those messages. For a second, I thought I hadn't heard him right. "You," he nodded. "Yeah, I did, because you deserve to know what really happened last night." Rachel's face went pale. "Don't," but he kept going. "It wasn't just a dance. She came to me before the wedding, asked me to help her make you jealous, said you'd stop paying attention to her, and she wanted to wake you up. I thought it was some harmless drama. But last night, when she started saying those things out loud, I realized it wasn't about jealousy anymore. It was about control. Control. That word hit hard, because for years I'd let her steer every part of our lives, where we lived, who we saw, what we did. I thought compromise was love. Turns out, I was just shrinking to fit into her comfort." Rachel stepped forward, voice shaking. "He's lying. He's trying to make himself look good." I looked at her. "Then why did he know about the video?" Her lips parted, but no sound came out. Only guilt, heavy and visible. Evan reached into his coat and handed me something, a flash drive. "This is the full video from the wedding. Someone else recorded it. Not just you two. You need to see how far it went." Rachel lunged for it, but I caught it first. Her voice rose. "Please don't watch it. It'll ruin everything." I stared at her, calm but done pretending. "It's already ruined, Rachel." Evan quietly left. The rain swallowed the sound of his footsteps. When the door clicked shut, she broke down. "I didn't mean for it to go that far. I just wanted you to notice me again." "Notice you?" I said, almost laughing. "I noticed you every day. You just stopped looking back." She sank to the floor, crying, and maybe a part of me wanted to comfort her. But another part, the part that had been humiliated, dismissed, and called boring, was finally free. I picked up my bag from the corner, the one I'd packed before coming back. "You'll be fine," I said. "You always are." She reached for me. "So that's it? You're just leaving?" I paused at the door. "No, I'm just finally listening to the silence you created." Outside, the rain had stopped. The world smelled clean, like something had finally washed away. I walked to the car, started the engine, and drove off without looking back. By the time I reached the highway, I pulled over and plugged in the flash drive. The video loaded instantly. Laughter, music, flashing lights. Then I saw her again, spinning under the chandeliers, whispering things to Evan I didn't want to hear. But near the end, something unexpected happened. The camera panned, catching a reflection in the mirror. Me, standing in the background, watching her. And in that reflection, I didn't look broken. I looked like a man finally seeing clearly. I closed the laptop and smiled for the first time that day. Because sometimes the truth doesn't destroy you, it releases you. As the miles stretched out ahead of me, I thought about everything that had happened. The wedding, the laughter, the humiliation, all of it had one purpose: to show me what love isn't. Love isn't a game to wake someone up. It's not built on jealousy or attention. It's built on respect, the one thing she forgot to protect. And in losing her, I found mine. So if you've ever been made to feel small by someone who was supposed to lift you up, remember this: walking away isn't weakness. Sometimes it's the loudest kind of strength. If you've been here from the beginning till now, thank you for watching. What would you have done if you were in my place that night? Would you have walked away or confronted them differently? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every one of them. And if you love stories like this about love, betrayal, and redemption, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. More stories are coming, and trust me, you won't want to miss the next one.